Tita. And anyway, I guess as most of you are, I'm also working. I used to, in my past life, work with a broadcasting network, and now I've moved to trying. I've moved for 2.5 years. I am now with a company called the Philippine Stock Exchange, and so if anyone of you is into investing, but I handle public and investor relations for the PSE, and that's what I do currently. But for now, perhaps some of you, because I myself, I'm really trying to figure out still why I'm asked to do this talk. Because it's a bit ironic that a lady named Martha will be given something, will be asked to give a talk on something that is supposedly a married duty. But nonetheless, I'll give it a try. Who among you enjoy praying? May I see a raise of hands, even if I can quite see you all? Wow, that's a good turnout. Anyone who wish they could skip praying, if they have to or could? Okay, no one is brave enough to admit. But there are times that I myself would say, Lord, can I just skip it for now? But more than that, let's first go into the why, the how, and the what of prayer. The why of prayer. We pray for many different reasons. We pray to give thanks. I forgot I'm supposed to be controlling the PowerPoint. We pray to give thanks, to ask for forgiveness, and many other things. But whatever the reason for our prayer is, we all pray because we need. Right? Yes. How do we pray? You were able to see all the items listed earlier when they showed the video for the survey. We pray using words, we pray using music, we pray through silence. Some opt to be kneeling, standing, raising their hands. Again, however you would want to pray. Again, the most important thing is your posture in prayer. And I'd like for you to look at the cute kid in the picture. I met this kid, his name is Yuri, back in 2000 something. Icon in Kamsur, when we had our pre-iconers. Are you here? Good to hear from you guys. We had an immersion in a center for children who are deaf and mute. And Yuri has a hearing impairment. And even if he cannot hear, once he sees that everyone is doing the sign of the cross, because some of them can still be taught to teach, that's why there's early intervention. When he sees his peers doing the sign of the cross, he does the same. So again, even if this kid cannot hear the words that are being uttered by the teachers, the posture is there. See his hands? Again, however it is that we pray, it's the posture of our hearts that is important. And of course, what is prayer? It should ideally be something that will allow for us to nourish and grow in our relationship with the Lord. And I hope after the what, you also recognize the who. Who are you praying to? What is the image that you have of Jesus? What is the image that you have of God? How do you know Him? Right now, I'd like for you to think of our triune God. You may close your eyes if you wish to, just don't fall asleep, as of course, everyone will caution. You may keep your eyes open. But think of the triune God, have an image in your mind. And as you think of the triune God, speak first to the Father. What is it are you most thankful for to the Father? And say it to Him now. Now I'd like for you to think of Jesus, Son of the Father, our Savior and Redeemer. With him in front of you, what would you like to say sorry for? And finally, with the Holy Spirit. Sometimes for most of us, the concept of the Holy Spirit is still vague. Even if we've had our talk 9, even if we always call in the Spirit. So at this time, again, talk to the Spirit and ask him to reveal himself to you. And at the same time, ask him to give you what you wish for. Now with the Almighty God in front of us, Father, Son, and Spirit, I want you to address God and say that one thing that you've been wanting to tell him but have been hesitant to do so. Done? Not yet. You may continue the conversation later on. But for now, I'd like to draw your attention to the time. It's actually been 5 minutes since I started posing the questions to you. And in those 5 minutes, we actually did an exercise of examine, which is to really just go back to those memories, to those experiences that we had, where God just surfaced the most, where we felt his presence the most. So just goes to show us that really finding time for prayer is possible. Even the few minutes we spent here, we were already able to communicate with him. We were already able to tell God what we are most thankful for. And most likely, that one thing that you have been most thankful for, of all the blessings that you received, perhaps yesterday or the day before, that one thing that you chose is that experience where you felt God the most. Is it how it is? Or did you just randomly think of, wait, look at my crush ko kanina. I saw my crush earlier. Was that it? No, but anyway, again, when we ask for mercy from Jesus, that one source of guilt that surfaced is most likely the sin that has been asking you to surrender to Him. And when you spoke with the Spirit, whatever it is that you told the Spirit, most likely is that one thing that you really have been wanting to ask Him as well. Some of you may already be practicing examen, and some of you may have heard of it but have not tried to do so. So essentially, of course, this is espoused by St. Ignatius of Loyola and is practiced with the Jesuits. It's really just going over the events of your life. They actually do this twice a day, noontime and before they sleep. And of course, you can adopt the same if you wish to. But if you would like to just do it, for example, in the evening, then do so. It's really just going over your day and going through the experiences you've had and really just trying to feel and trying to sense God in all these experiences and just really focusing on the one single experience that made you feel Him the most. Because most likely, that experience is where He's leading you to, or that experience is something that will give you more insights, more direction, and that experience is where God would like for you to dwell most on. Because He has a surprise for you there, a message perhaps, an assurance. And so, after going through all these, we now see that there are actually parallelisms in terms of how we pray and how Jesus prayed, or how Jesus prayed first and how we are praying now. So we ought to learn from Jesus in terms of praying. In Mark 1:35, it says there, rising very early before dawn, He left and went off to a deserted place where He prayed. Rising very early before dawn. Does anyone here wake up before 5 o'clock? No one? We're still all asleep. There's quite a few. 7 o'clock. That's too late already. See, Jesus rose early before dawn and would go to a certain place to pray. And in our case, we sort of, well, for most of us, or for some of you, because I'm not a morning person, that prayer most likely happens in the morning. So you also wake up and you also take time to pray. See the parallelism? We're sort of modeling Jesus in how He prays. So He gets up early in the morning, we do the same, He prays first, and hopefully that's what we do as well. First thing we do in the morning, and not check our phones for social media updates. John 6:11. Sorry for the typo. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed them to those who were reclining. Gave thanks. If this is the scenario, what prayer do we say? Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed them to those who were reclining. What would have been what is the counterpart prayer in our time now? Loaves. Is that a hint? Food. Who loves to eat here? Who's a foodie? Like me. Obviously. We say our grace before meals, right? Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive. And my favorite line, from thy bounty. When I pray it, I always stress the point because I would like to remember that whatever is in front of me during mealtime comes from the Lord. It is through His bounty that I'm able to eat it. Who among you have tried local dishes? Good for you. McDonald's, since you got here, hopefully I'll get to eat should be proud before I leave. But anyway, that's another story altogether. There are many other parallelisms in terms of how Jesus prayed during his time and how we're praying now. He would always pray for the sick. And we do the same. We pray for our brothers and sisters who are sick. Before Jesus chose his apostles, he also prayed. And just like with us, we discern, we pray before we ask someone to take on a leadership role. Unless, of course, you're just forced to step up and say, hey, be the household head now, okay? I hope it wasn't like that in your case, for those household heads who are here. But again, there are many similarities in terms of how Jesus prayed during his time and how we prayed, and how we are praying now. And because of their immersion in the prayer life of Jesus, the apostles eventually asked the Lord, teach us how to pray. So they were so enamored by how Jesus was praying that they themselves would want to learn how to pray. Would you like to learn from the Master himself? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. And how did the Master teach them? What prayer did the Master give them? It seems like you're not quite sure. There has to be conviction in the answer. What prayer did Jesus teach the disciples or his apostles? Thank you very much. The Lord's Prayer. Can you see that now? And let's remember that this prayer was given to Jesus as an inspiration from the Holy Spirit coming from the Father. So in the way we say it, not just now when we recite it, but hopefully every time we pray the Lord's Prayer, that there's reverence in it. Just put yourself in that scenario when Jesus taught his apostles how to pray this prayer. Do you think he would have uttered this like this? Amen. I don't think so. I'm sure he relished in saying every single word in the Lord's Prayer. You think so too? It would have taken him how many minutes to actually finish the prayer? You wouldn't know. You can hazard a guess. 3 minutes, 2 minutes. But I'm sure he wasn't in a hurry to finish it. So when we pray it now, and again, as I said earlier, when you pray the Lord's Prayer, take time to relish every word and put reverence in how you say the words as well. So can we all together pray the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Now there are two things to be gleaned from the apostles of the Lord's Prayer, and that is that there is a God whom we pray to, and that there is a person in prayer. The God whom we pray to, we say, thy name, thy kingdom, and thy will. We say, thy first, or you first. Your kingdom come, your will be done, because, as said in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, it is the characteristic of love to think first of the one whom you love. Nice? Are you like that? If you love someone, you think first of the person you love? Not for everyone, I guess. You think first of yourself before that love the beloved? Not sure again. Are we still lacking coffee in our system? No, but We say thy first in the Lord's Prayer because, again, as mentioned here, it is the characteristic of love to think first of the one whom we love. And in this case, who is it that we love? We're not sure. Who is it that we love? God. That is why the petitions, thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will, they all refer to Jesus first and none to ourselves. And of course, we also acknowledge here the divine attributes of God. Those three divine attributes would be: He is omniscient, He is omnipresent, and He is omnipotent. So do you know who you are praying to? Do you know the God whom you're praying to? Do you know Him? How much do you know Him? Are you this close? Or are you that close or far? This or that? May I see? This or that? How close are you to your God? The God whom you're praying to? Close? Not quite? Hopefully, if you do not, if at this point, you do not quite know the God whom you are praying to, then I hope that you take the time to be acquainted with Him, from acquaintance become friends, and eventually develop that strong relationship with our God. So from the God to whom we pray to, there is also the person in prayer. And this now refers to us. Give us, forgive us, lead us not, and deliver us. And the first two petitions in this, which essentially is the fourth and fifth petition in the Lord's Prayer, they all refer to our concern for our daily lives. So give us, we ask Him for our daily bread. Forgive us, we ask Him to free us from sin. Now the last two, they refer to our concerns in terms of our battle with prayer. Before I move on to our battles in prayer, allow me to just perhaps emphasize why, at least from my perspective, it is very important to know the God you're praying to and know your identity in the God whom you're praying. Who among you know their identity in God? Who are you to God? Anyone knows? There's quite a few here in front and in the middle part of the room as well. In my case, back in 2008, if I'm not mistaken, I attended a retreat, and in that retreat, we had an exercise. It was a very short one, less than 5 minutes even, and we were made to ask God, God, who am I to you? Have you asked that of God? If you haven't, you may want to do so. So just ask Him, God, who am I to you? And His revelation to me was that I am His beloved. And when we had our sharing after that, me and some of the friends who also attended the retreat, I got envious because all of them were saying, oh, I'm like this, I'm like that, I'm his daughter, his child, his Talita. And it seems that the names were common among them, except for me. I was the lone beloved. So envious me, I was asking God, how come I'm the only beloved, and all of them seem to be, given a common name? And then, 2 days after the retreat, middle of the morning, early morning I should say, 3 o'clock, I'm not sure if you've had any experience in terms of, out of the blue just waking up for no reason at all, not because you want to go to the bathroom or whatever. You just, would just snap out of sleep, and that's what happened to me. And then when I woke up that time, I was just given this image of the baptism of Jesus at the Jordan, wherein the clouds opened, the dove descended, and then what did Jesus say? Or what did the voice say? This is my beloved. Gave me goosebumps, really. Because I then was asking him, so now you're comparing me to Jesus? And his answer was, well, you were asking me, not, weren't you? He was assuring me that, you are my beloved. And it helped because I was given this life verse. You are all beautiful, my beloved, and there is no blemish in you. Why is that important to me? This, one of the titos who attended the same retreat, actually after a few months, just mentioned this to me because I told him that I'm God's beloved, and he said, have you read the Song of Songs and what it pertains to when it comes to the beloved? And I said, no. And he said, look it up. That's when I looked it up. And then, that's when this verse was given to me. And it's important because my skin is very sensitive. And it just develops all types of rashes. It just develops all types of allergies. I mean, name an allergen, I probably have encountered it. Same for food. I don't know why. But dust, pollen, think of it. And so it's difficult for me because I would usually have marks. That's why for my pre-icon friends, they wouldn't have noticed I was always wearing jeans and never shorts. Because I can't, because I have a lot of marks in my legs as well as in my arms. And of course, it was a very, big source of insecurity for me. And always I would say, why did you all make them with skin that has no, allergies whatsoever, and I'm so prone to this. But with this verse, he's telling me, you don't have to worry about your physical body. It's your soul that I'm after. As long as it's blemish-free, and make sure you keep it that, you are beautiful. Now let's move on to the battles in prayer. Again, the CCC says their prayer is both a gift of grace and a determined response on our part. It always presupposes effort. Can you say that all together? Prayer is both a gift of grace and a determined response. It always presupposes effort. I'd like to emphasize the word presupposes. It assumes that there's effort on your part. Do you exert that effort? Do you exert that effort? I ask again for the third time. Do you exert that effort?
Yes.
I hope you do. Allow me to propose this acronym for prayer. Prayer being that personal relationship awaiting your everyday response. It is a gift. It's been given there. The personal relationship with God has to be nurtured. The thing is, action has to be taken, and that action has to come from you. What is your response? Prayer, of course. But the thing is, do you respond? So it's just there awaiting for your response, and it's daily. It has to be constant. It can be, okay, I pray today, but tomorrow, forget about it. Let's pray again next time. The battle of prayer happens against whom? It is a battle against ourselves and against the wiles of the tempter who does all he can to turn man away from prayer, away from union with God. Allow me to enumerate some tensions that as singles for Christ we face. The first one being the posture of our hearts. It was mentioned earlier that one of the reasons why we find it difficult to pray is because we do not have focus. Although it's quite ironic because I just saw in the video as well that they usually pray through silence. So I don't know how you interpret that. But again, these tensions on their own are not bad. Being active is not bad, being contemplative isn't bad. But then if we just keep on one part or just stay on one side, then we might not be doing our whole being justice. Just picture yourself, just doing, acting, doing all sorts of service, but forgetting how to pray. Because, again, the Lord may be telling you already, you know what? It's time to move on. You're still in here doing whatever it is that you're doing, when in fact you're actually already being called to prayer. In the same manner, during prayer, or since you pray a lot, because you're the contemplative part, it can't be that you're just praying all the time. Because in your prayer time, God may already tell you, do this, do that. But then you just stay within your comfort zone of contemplation. So there has to be integration. It can't be just one over the other. You have to strive to integrate both. And how do you do that? Through prayer. Only through prayer will you receive the grace and will you know what God would want for you to do. The next one. Let's skip that. Commitment to purpose, duty versus self-fulfillment. Again, there may be instances wherein, as an SFC, you are torn between doing something that you would want to do for yourself and doing something, let's say, for your family, for your friends, for your office mates even. Who among you here had to think twice, thrice, 4 times if they will register because the 20,000 plus pesos that they will spend could be used as tuition fee for their brothers and sisters' education in their last quarter of the school year, or can be used, to pay their apartment, rent for the next so many months. Did anyone have to go through that decision process? Again, it's self-fulfillment, wanting to just go to the island in Singapore, but at the same time, on the other hand, being drawn to just give that money to help their family. So again, pray for integration to happen. That in the duty that you do, there will be self-fulfillment. And at the same time, your family, your friends will understand you and will not resent you. If you do so decide that, hey, this is my me time now, allow me to spend time in Singapore. The third one being pursuit of true identity, secular versus sacred. Again, if you have a different life when you're in SFC, when you have a different life when you're in the office, then it's difficult. It becomes confusing. It's as if, you're one person here, you're one person there. Again, there has to be integration. Whatever is sacred can be brought to the secular life. As in my case, I try to, for example, because every month, my team would have a meeting. And after every meeting, I would lead the group in prayer to really just thank Him for all that we've accomplished for the month and all that we will try to accomplish for the coming weeks, for the coming months as well. So again, it's possible to integrate your secular life and your sacred life. And again, you achieve this through prayer. And finally, your expression of self. Passion versus purity. And I'd like to call on now a brother to share on this tension. I'd like to call on our brother from Canada, Rodale Mendoza.
morning, brothers and sisters. My name is Rodale Mendoza. I'm from Canada, and I live in a city called Edmonton. I'm here to share you guys briefly. Nice guy. I'm here to share you guys briefly about a struggle that that has taken up a really, really big chunk of my life, my childhood. And so, when I was very young, I encountered porn at a really, really young age when I discovered a softcore porn magazine underneath the bed. I don't know who put it there, but I saw it there. And this very, very pivotal moment in my life, it sparked a very, very extreme desire to be satisfied. And I didn't really understand it, but, it felt good, and I just kept wanting more because I just couldn't get enough. And so at a very young age, I developed this habit of viewing pornography. And, the advent of the internet didn't really help, it helped in this, in me developing this vicious habit. And it continued to do so with advancement in technology. And although I was never caught, I would always deny whenever I was asked. I remember this one time, my mom telling me that viewing pornography was wrong, that it was sinful. And so consequently, also being raised as a Catholic, consequently I felt guilty each time. But I was left confused because I didn't really understand why it was wrong, why the church taught this. But aside from this guilt, there's also this feeling of shame and resentment that would come afterwards. I wondered at times why the seemingly harmless and pleasurable act would at the same time leave me feeling so shameful and resentful. Anyway, I was hooked. I was hooked, and this habit continued for years. Little did I know that this habit would foster this growth of selfishness in my life. And so when I entered high school, I entered into relationships, that initially started good, but they eventually struggled with impurity because of what I was struggling for. And looking back, I didn't really see, I didn't know it, I didn't see it then, but I see it now. I saw how the habit really, this habit of looking at pornography really pointed me inward, selfish, self-centered. I was unknowingly undermining this God-given capacity to love, to sacrifice, to give to others. At that time, I felt that sacrifice was a nuisance. I didn't like sacrifice. I just seek comfort. And so with my desires driven by fantasy because of looking at porn, I look for attributes in women that no woman could rival. And so for a while, I even managed to convince myself that this was okay, that this wasn't really that terribly sinful. However, after leading a camp for the first time, I was inspired to dive deeper into my faith. I started reading the catechism. I sought specifically to learn about chastity. I saw the beauty in the virtue, and I wanted that. I had this new desire to be pure, to be holy. But it wasn't that easy to turn my life around. In my relationships, I was still being impure. And so, this made it really difficult. And, then I just went back to my old habits. I felt empty. And I felt like I didn't have direction. And I really wanted out of this rut. So for several months, before ending my last relationship, I went to a come and see at a seminary in my town. And there I met the vocations director, who's now been my spiritual director for 2 years now. At our first meeting, he brought to my attention how a steady, consistent prayer life is going to play a big role in overcoming my temptation. And when he said that, I felt embarrassed because I realized I didn't really have a prayer life. Aside from asking petitions, I feel like I didn't really know how to pray. Perhaps I didn't have the proper posture. But for several more sessions with him listening and me telling him how miserable my life was, he spoke words that I still remember to this day. They're so simple, but they changed my life. And he said, at the end of our session, he said, "Cordell, you're okay. You're a good guy. You're a good person." It felt so foreign to me because, I'm so used to putting myself down. So used to, putting myself down because of the guilt and shame. But those words, even though so simple, they created such an impact. And the words enabled me to reflect on God's love and mercy. It paved the way for me to learn how to properly come into prayer. And now before I even say anything, I needed to look at God and His gaze upon His beloved. And that way, I can look at myself in the mirror and say, I am His beloved. And so practicing this allowed me to have a new appreciation for prayer. And by His grace, my prayer life has improved. What used to be only 3 to 5 minutes in my car driving to work, extended to me taking the time to go to the Blessed Sacrament, spending half an hour to an hour. And we made a point to stop listening to music, or I made a point to pray the rosary before I even listened to music in the car. And so by His grace, I've been distracted from my temptations. By His grace, I now fear, I can step back before I commit the sin. I fear putting a barrier or block against His radiant love. And it's heightened my senses to be able to see and find opportunities to love, to be more selfless. What the funny thing is, I still, to this day, I still struggle with sin in many ways, and I still really struggle with prayer. I still find it hard to be quiet, to focus. The temptation to despair when I fall is still there; it's very real. And this inclination to fall back to old habits, I can still feel it lingering. But my brothers and sisters, I choose repentance. I choose to run to the Lord. I choose to run to the sacraments. I choose to go to confession. I choose to run to the Lord. For my hope is in His cross. And that allows me to say that nothing can separate me from the love of God that is in Jesus Christ.
Thank you very much, Brother Will. So just allow me to read 2 sentences so I don't mix them up. Our passion should be guided by our purity, and our purity should be reflected in our passion. I'll say that again. Our passion should be guided by our purity, and our purity should be reflected in our passion. Now we'll move to an activity. If you will notice, and of course you know, that you're seated with people from other areas. So in the interest of time, I think I blabbered earlier on, so we have very limited time now. I'll give you, since there's 3 of you, PM, MM, IM, Philippine Missions, Metro Manila, and International Missions, I'll give you 3 minutes each to share with the person beside you, or there's 2 of them, so this is a triad. And the question would be, what practical steps will I take to improve my prayer time? So it's that simple. Practical steps to improve my prayer time. It's I'll give you again 9 minutes to do that, and just make sure again that you're not with someone in the same area as you do. So turn to the person beside you. There should be 3 of you, PM, NM, IM, to do this discussion. Okay? So 9 minutes.